Where else are you hoping to go this year?
Believe.
Have you ever been there before?
Nope.
Do you know what we're doing when we're there?
Explore.
Yes, we also have to castrate animals is one of the things that we do as like a community service. Yeah, we get like castrate cows.
Castrate?
Yeah, like neuter them, like when you get your dog neutered.
Oh yeah, I cannot neuter animals.
Yeah, we have to do that. Yeah.
I can't neuter animals.
Yep. And we have to, when you go to Belize the first night too, you have to drink, they have snake blood shots also we do. And
really?
So, yeah, so it's gonna be cool.
But aren't I a minor?
Oh, you can still drink snake blood even if you're a minor.
Oh,
yeah, you can't drink alcohol, but snake blood is like totally.
But what kind of snake we talking about?
I don't know. Costa Rican snakes.
Like, aren't the rattlesnakes in Costa Rica?
I don't know. I hope not. Are you allergic to rattlesnakes?
Allergic enough where I could die.
Oh, all right. I'm not allergic to them, so it doesn't bother me. Welcome to Monday, everyone. Let's start off with this ridiculous story. Every year, right before back to school night, I always tell the students that up front is a table. That table, it's known as the cookie table. It's the cookie table because I tell my students that every year, all the moms pick their most favorite teacher and they bring that teacher cookies. I've never gotten cookies in 12 years. This year, a student tells his mom this, does not pick up on my sarcasm, and that mom brought 6 boxes of cookies to school. It was the best. Today could have been a terrible day, but it wasn't. Because you know what? Every time someone did something great, I just handed out some cookies. And the kids loved it, and the kids that ask for a cookie never get a cookie. The kids that were doing great got a cookie, and the kids that weren't doing great started doing greater. I think that's a transition of that word. But anyway, they started doing better because they wanted cookies. The best. Seems like most people like that format that I did last week, so we're gonna try and stay on that. Here's what we did today. 9th grade, started working on their life maps. This is an odyssey of their life from birth until now, and then how they became the individual that they became in that time. I did a very, very simple PowerPoint. I was gonna make like a video or I was gonna make like a cooler PowerPoint, but I decided to make it very, very basic to kind of like set the tone so that students that don't feel very creative felt like they could actually do something with this as well. 10 slides from my birth until the human being that I am now, and then the things that made me into the human being I am today. This is great on a lot of levels, right? Lets the kids know who I am. Lets the kids identify with me in a lot of different ways. I use pictures in which I look completely awkward. There's Mohawk Reynolds in there. There's long-haired Reynolds in there. There's Reynolds playing drums. My van from when I was in high school called the Dr. Love bus that I've driven all over this country in. And so it lets the kids know that this is not my only life I've ever lived, was being a teacher. I've lived many different lives up until now, especially because I didn't start teaching until I was 27. So that really gave me a lot of space to fill my life up with experiences and then to share those now with the students. Those are due on Wednesday. All they need are 10 slides in chronological order that are labeled, and then they have to have 3 quotes that say something about their life. Like song lyrics, you could have something from a book, from a TV show, but 3 quotes, and then you have to connect them to your life. And that's it. You get points for it. Sophomores have been using software since Friday, a website called storybird.com. You can go on, it's free. You can make a class on there. Your students sign up for that class using a code that Storybird gives you. And then when they submit their projects, they're already on that website. So you can already see them. They don't go public, so your kids don't have to like have their stuff out there. But it's been really, really fun. If kids want to draw the project, they've been allowed to, but I don't think anyone's taking me up on that option because I told you about how bad their drawings are. That's been working well. We did an outline last week that looked something like this. Can we see that? Maybe, sorta, kinda. Not really. Each page of their story, so pages 1, 2, all the way through 14, and it says what I need to see on each page, right? So the first page is the introduction, characters, and the setting. The second and third pages are the intro into the main conflict. And so this kind of painted the picture already. And I told them, like, it's just a children's book. So it's only really 1 to 2 sentences per page. Some kids went with a different kind of children's book and they have like paragraphs on each page, and that's cool too. But essentially, like if you think of a Pete the Cat or Where the Wild Things Are, there are very few words to get across your ideas. If you're a struggling writer, that is going to hopefully help you, because you have to pare it down and you're not worried about like beefing it up or putting a whole bunch of extra stuff in there. You can make it very, very simple and still get across what your conflict is, or or actions that your character took to overcome that conflict, something like that. So it's going well so far. The kids are, I see them secretly cracking up as they're writing stuff around the room, and it's been fun. We also picked where we're going this year for our trip abroad. Last year, I took students to Costa Rica.
All right there. No, I said we're back on the boat.
It was ridiculously fun. This year we were supposed to go to Greece. Something happened with that trip through the company that we use, and so Greece is getting put off till next year. So this year we're going to go to Belize. It's zip lining, scuba diving, snorkeling, walking through the jungle, rafting through like old Mayan caves, climbing temples and stuff like that. They were really pumped when I told the guys about it today. I showed a clip from one of my favorite YouTubers, Sarah Dici. She went to Belize last year with EF Tours, which is who we use. And so I put that up on the board and I told the kids about it. There'll be a meeting coming up for all the parents. In terms of that, if your school does not go on trips abroad, but you think that there's a chance you could, don't think about, oh, my kids don't have the means to be able to do this, or their parents can't afford it, or nobody would be interested. You literally pick the kids that you want to take. I have a ton of guys that apply, but you know what? If your discipline's not on point, if your grades aren't on point, you don't get to go on the trip. So you really get to take really great kids on a trip somewhere that's going to literally change their lives. I had many students that have come up to me and said, that trip last year to Costa Rica completely changed my life. And no, so you can do that also. If you leave me a question in the comments below, I'll be sure to like hook you up with any information about what I know about taking trips abroad. If you're new to this and you've never done that before, like hit me up. Maybe that's worth a video of like what to do if you want your kids to go abroad with you. But it's unreal. It's like the best thing, one of the best things that happened last year. That's it. I have after school program today in which I'm going to work on my store that we built last year out of plywood. Trying to make a video right now and you're dancing in here. That's it. Now I'm being disrupted by this student. See you Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's the end of the day. This is how busy my day was. First period, kids worked on projects. 2 students came in from St. Joe's University and I talked to them for the entire day and tried to teach my class at the same time. Second period, freshmen came in, worked on their projects on the computers, on their life maps. They continued to work through that. I had to run around the class, touch base with everyone, make sure that everyone was on point, make sure that they knew how to save and share Google Docs, make sure that they were implementing all of the things I asked them to do. They're freshmen, it's the beginning of the year, you really have to train them. Third period of the day, one of my old students, Shayla, who I taught in my second year of teaching, came up today to just visit. Every once in a while she'll come up to school, just sit in the back of the room, observe what's going on. She likes to talk with the kids and stuff like that. And it's a really great way for the students to see someone that I used to teach and how we still connect all of these years later. I also had a speaker come in that Miss Yonkers hooked up. His name is Mr. Briers. He's a comic book artist and the creator of an animated TV show that's based on his comic book. One of the things we're trying to do this year is get people in front of the students that are actually successful, that have done something that the students might want to do one day, and this gives them a chance to like actually see someone that's done what they want to do. 2, one of the other things we're trying to do is my class is primarily African American, and so we're trying to get African American males to come into the school that have been successful in some way or another and speak to the boys also. I've talked a lot about this on Teacher Talk Live lately, whether it's with Miss Tanner or Black Girls Teach, and this idea that like if my students can see people that look like them that have been successful, that's a really big piece that's missing from a lot of kids' lives, and so we're just trying to bridge that gap. I'm also trying to work on having a number of women come in and speak this year, because some of our ideas of how we treat women and how we speak to women are not, I think, where they need to be, and so we're trying to build that character piece also, and so that will be met by like having women that have really cool jobs or that are doing stuff or that are really successful in what they're doing or really passionate about what they're doing to come in and share their stories with our boys as well. Then had a lot of students with stuff going on, so my lunch periods were me sort of like moving around, talking to different kids, finding out what's going on in life, seeing if I could help with anything, just giving them a space to just talk about what's going on and not necessarily feeling like I need to give advice, which after being married for this long, I've learned that that's an actual skill, to just listen sometimes, gentlemen, and not feel like you always have to fix everything. Ching. Then I taught 2 more classes. Then I had a coverage for another class because Rufo had to go to golf practice, so I covered his class, and then I had my 8th period off, but that was all the work from the day that had to be done. All the grading had to get done during that period. And then the boys came in after school to help me do the bathroom pass video. And then tonight's Teacher Talk Live. So it's madness. As far as takeaways from the day, I would just say that like some days we come in and we have this agenda of work that we feel needs to be done. And I think sometimes if you just slow down and just focus on the students and let that be what matters, you're really gonna have a bigger payoff in the days, weeks, and months to come. So for my one class today, I gave them the last 5 minutes, but I really did that because I wanted to touch base with a certain number of students that were having a hard time yesterday, or I've been noticing like they're a little bit more down today than they were 2 days ago. And so if I have that extra 5 minutes, I can really just sit down next to someone and say, hey man, I've been noticing this about you. Do you want to talk about anything? And even if they don't, I let them know like, I just want you to know more than anything that I notice you and I see you and I'm noticing that difference in you. So I don't want you to think that you're just going through life and no one's ever noticing what's going on with you. Know that I'm seeing that. And if you ever want to talk, I'm available every single day after school, before school, during lunch, like whatever. And I just really hope that that means something to them and they really do use that time. And that if they really do need me, they could reach out to me and know that it was a safe place to do that. That's it. Projects are due tomorrow. They're due the moment the kids come in, not 5 minutes later, not 10 minutes later, not at the end of the day. It's either on time or it's a 0. Tomorrow's Independent Reading Day. We'll present on Thursday and I'll share all that stuff with you then. All right, we're here with Pastor after school, and the funny thing that you can't see right now is how awkwardly close we have to stand to one another. So we can't really look at each other when we're talking because it looks weird. Would you agree with that?
I would really agree with this.
All right, first, how's your year going?
My year, it's going good. I ain't starting none yet.
All right, what is something you're looking forward to this year coming up? Make sure you talk loud enough because they want to hear you. You're the pastor.
You already know. I'm interested mostly in this year. The summer search program. See if I get accepted into it.
What is the summer search program?
It's a program to see. It's a program where throughout the year and each summer you can go to like different places in or outside the country and do like various certain things like community service and stuff along those lines. Learn about religions, cultures, stuff like that.
Where else are you hoping to go this year?
Believe.
Yeah.
Go see some family.
I'm not going to see my family. They're from Alany section of Philadelphia. It's after school. It's Thursday. I missed yesterday. And Taj is over there. There's his little head.
Marilyn, how's it doing, YouTube?
This is what we did today. I have kids in my room. Hugs is over there. Ham's over there. So I'm not used to doing this with other people in the room, but you know, so be it. Here we go. Wednesday, Independent Reading Day. Every student has to bring a book to class and they have to read it for 20 minutes. And then I give you the rest of the class to just chill. And so today that looked like I was reading... Yesterday I was reading Fat Kid Rules the World, and so this is a book that I thought was going to be funny right away. And it wasn't. It was about a kid who's 300 pounds, he's 6'1", he's in high school, and he's contemplating whether or not he should jump off of the subway platform into the front of a train. It was interesting. I think there's a possibility we're going to read this later in the year. That's why I'm reading it now, because like I said before, I get to pick all of my own books that I want to teach. And for the 10th grade, I'm not exactly sure what I want to teach yet because I'm not sure where that class is going to go. But the freshmen this week did their life maps. I had a little rubric. It's really, really simple. So this has been mind-boggling, kind of like throws you off a lot, because what it will do if you do this with your classes is it will give you kids that were maybe a behavioral problem, maybe super quiet, and when kids talk about how they got there, like maybe someone died, someone was born, someone got locked up, someone went through something really hard, it really informs you as to like why your students are the way that they are. And then the better you know your kids, the better you can teach them. Dorks, shh. Sometimes call my students dorks. Yes. I had some behavioral issues, and so I'm not going to talk about that yet. I am going to talk about that later, like this, how I deal with like pretty serious behavior issues in class, because there's ways to deal with that, people, and I know some of them. Sophomores started presenting their books in class today, and that was hilarious. Let's do this. Here's me and Ham talking about this project in class. All right, end of the day, we're here with Ham. Ham is in my class, one of my 2 10th grade classes that are creating children's books right now, and so we broke them down. We wrote children's books. Tomorrow, his class is going to present those books. Can you talk a little bit about your book and your experience with this project?
My book's name is The Hero with the Head of Flame. The book, like writing the book was easy. It just, all you had to do was make it rhyme and make it fun. Put like cool pictures on there so kids would actually like it. What we're learning plot development. We're learning how to properly develop the plot and how to drag the plot into the resolution. Go through all the main points of the plot chart.
Where did you get your idea for your book? Because it's a pretty weird sounding book.
Idea for my book kind of came from Hot Hands and an anime that I watched. It's called Fairy Tale. Don't judge me.
I will.
And
you don't have a permission slip.
I don't know where he came
Leave
from.
him out. So you're in the 7th period class, which is the greatest class ever.
Most definitely.
This year. Why, in your opinion, I mean, you don't have to agree with me, why is it the greatest class ever, though?
All right, first off, this man is teaching it, so that's the first reason.
That seems like a setup.
Second off, we crack a lot of jokes, but we also learn a lot of stuff. You wouldn't expect a class like that to be so educated.
Do you notice, though, a difference between like that class last year and this year? Like that class was great last year. What do you think has made it different this year, though?
What made it really different is because we know each other now. Everybody is like we got friends as a system now.
Do you think it makes it more comfortable when you come in and you know like all the dudes in the class already and stuff like that?
Most definitely. Starting at a new school is never easy for no kid. So especially high school, that might be the hardest. When you already know people, it's easier to find your groove, you know?
Also, this was an extremely dramatic day. Did you notice how dramatic it was today?
It really was really dramatic, Reynolds.
Come here, let's talk about how dramatic it was real quick. Get in here. What was your take on today? I felt like there was a lot going on. It wasn't all good stuff.
It really was. High school's busy in general, but today, I don't know what it was about the students and the teacher, but it really was so busy today. Like rush hour, but like how rush hour traffic is, but just in the hallways.
So school today was like kids acting a fool in class that don't normally act a fool, kids sharing things about their lives that were like special to them, and then the kids, like other students, would be like laughing at something that happened in someone's life that was really serious. I do not like that stuff. Like even at lunch today, someone really offended someone else, and this room is supposed to be like a safe place for like students to come in, right? I mean, just say that. You have to say it now because we're on camera.
Yeah,
Don't make me look bad.
Reynolds, you're one of my favorite teachers. I would never do that. It really is a safe place to come in. Reynolds makes his classroom, it makes it so chill, the way you can just come in here and just relax and have a good time with your friends in Reynolds. So with that kind of vibe, offending somebody and disrespecting somebody, hurting somebody, that's not the kind of place Reynolds would want you to be in. Like, he does not want you to come in here and do that in this classroom, because this classroom is made for a specific reason. To have fun, to chill, to learn, and get a good education. If you come in with that type of integrity to hurt somebody, disrespect somebody, it makes Reynolds looks bad, because this is what his classroom represents. He doesn't want people coming in.
What about at lunch? Like, how would you describe the vibe? Because I could say it, but like, what's the vibe at lunch every day?
At lunch, it's very chill because you have different students from different grades, from 9th, 10th, 11th. Sometimes 12th graders come in here to talk to Reynolds. But overall, it's very chill because you can come in here, eat your lunch, you can chill on your phone, laptop, or whatever electronic you have. You can have a good time because some classrooms, they don't have that. Reynolds makes it to so as if you can come in here and just relax and just have a good time during your lunch period. And it's very chillful. That's one thing I like about coming to this classroom every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
When someone comes in and they don't feel that, it's like, it hurts my feelings because I want people to feel comfortable.
Feel
and so
left
like
out.
that was like, you know, like a surprise. And so like, here's the thing. New teachers, this is gonna happen. Things are not always perfect. People on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, it looks perfect in their classroom, but it's not always. Like, you're dealing with real stuff because kids have real lives and there's real things going on out there. Like Ham, who might sneak in. You look so much smaller than the rest of us. He's a tiny Ham. So don't get caught up in all the stuff that you see on there all the time. I know this is a little bit rambly, a little bit not the same, but I have a room full of students and that makes it weird to record. I got new stuff today though. Let's open some boxes and see what I got.
Reynolds got a bunch of stuff in the mail today. Let's see what it is. Original gangsters. Interesting.
Marilyn Manson here. Reynolds got some stuff in the mail. We're going to see what it is. Hopefully it smells great. 3 new books. Why didn't they teach this in school? Another book. Pablo Escobar Beyond Narcos. And lastly, some interesting meme, Execution, which seems very interesting by the cover of this book.
Alright, so y'all know the dealios, brolios. Reynolds got a crap ton of stuff today inside the mail, and we're about to open it. We got The Savage Blue. Pretty sure it's a book about an ocean. That's it. Death is SeaWorld. You really can't make that sound scary, whoever wrote this. The Vicious Deep. So we got a lot of books about oceans here. Let's see what else we got. And we got the packing bubbles.
Do you guys ever notice that you always dress the same every day?
We're in the same school, so we have to look identical right
Oh,
now.
alright, I thought you just did it because it was cute. Okay.
More stuff Reynolds got today in the mail. We're gonna open and show the YouTube world what it is. Crap ton of books. Seemed interesting because he's a literature teacher, so he has to have a lot of books.
Book about Steve Jobs. He kind of looks like Tom Cruise in the back. I know other people thought this. So we got On the Far Side of the Mountain. This might be a romance novel. Might be a little corny.
It gets worse.
Oh!
Let's see what gets worse about this book.
Oh my God. I read this book before. Well, it's kind of more of a graphic novel. Walter D. Myers, the autobiography of my dead brother. This book is good.
Have another Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Old School. And by the way, the new film of this was terrible. I do not advise you to go see this.
Hatchet. Obviously, a thriller book.
By the way, I believe that was a horror movie, if I'm not mistaken.
There are a lot of horror movies named after axes.
My Side of the Mountain. It looks very boring by the cover, but who knows? What's inside is what really matters.
What do you think that book's about?
As the side of somebody's mountain.
The Pact. 3 young men make a promise and fulfill a dream. I don't know if you guys can see this, but they don't look like young men. This one kind of looks like Usher.
The Vast and the Brutal Sea. But I don't know what's going on in this book, but it seems like Bikini Bottom has very lot of trouble going on.
My last book, we got Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Double Down. You know, I'm all for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, the movies. Y'all could have done better. Cheese is a title. I like that. I like that a lot.
Last but not least, you have the Rap Year book. And this book, I've never read it, but I can tell you, but this book is very good by the cover of this. You can see, had people starting from the 1980s, starting with Public Enemy and ending with 2003, 50 Cent. So if you like rap and your students like rap, I advise you to get this book, because they get their boogie on reading this.
Yes, he did say get his boogie on. Shelton out.
This isn't the way that I planned on ending this video. However, Friday was like not the best day I ever had in school. And so I want to talk about that real quick and then tell you how I'm planning on dealing with this week. So Friday was a day that I did not go into school on my best foot, right? I wasn't at my best, and that always has an effect on the students and how I deal with things that the students are doing or dealing with. A couple of things that I did wrong in reflection that I should have done differently. One, I'm not giving myself enough time to get things done in school. I'm letting students' needs come before my needs. And although that's important sometimes, I think it's also important to like take a step back and making sure that like, you know, the old, you're putting your oxygen mask on before you put somebody else's oxygen mask on.
And remember to always put your own mask on first before helping others.
I'm not doing that. So I have 2 lunch periods with students. They were getting too rowdy in one of those lunch periods, and lunch periods are supposed to just be chill. I'm looking on changing that this week and only having, like, setting my boundaries and letting kids know that if you're gonna eat lunch with me, then it's gotta be cool. Otherwise, you gotta go. The other thing is learning how to focus on students that need you rather than students that are just like acting up. So you can spend your whole period just putting out fires, and then that's it. You don't get any work done because you're just playing whack-a-mole all day. And instead, what if that looked like you kind of either removing those students or figuring out a strategic way to deal with them so that you could then get to those students that actually need you. And that could look like someone's acting up and you talk to them once and then you ask them to step to the principal's office, or wait in the hallway until you can get to them, or adding extra homework, or taking points off, or whatever it is, or handing out cookies to kids that are behaving. The biggest problem with disciplined children is not the disciplining of the children. It's the kids that are on point, that are flying right below the radar, that end up failing your class for the year because you didn't have time to give to them. And so this week is going to be all about focusing on those students and giving them my absolute undivided attention. One of my teaching heroes that I talk about every so often on here wrote a book about this. Rafe Esquith wrote a book called Teach Like Your Hair's on Fire. And the idea there is that you're so focused on what's going on that like literally your hair could catch on fire and you're not paying attention because you're so zoned in on helping the kid have the best day or really, really wanting them to understand what you're teaching them at that moment. So this week is all about that in my classroom. I'm planning on having the greatest week. And a couple of ways I'm gonna do that is by one, making sure that like I'm not just putting out fires all day. Two, taking enough time for myself. So if I need less kids to eat lunch with me, if I need the morning to myself, making sure that I'm doing that. And then all that's gonna do is help me to give even more when I'm with students. Three, I plan on doing like some random nice stuff for people in school. And one of those ideas is we got our school pictures back the other day. Mine came in. And so I will go around the school replacing pictures that are in people's frames on their desks with pictures of me. I'm not so sure that's a nice thing to do as much as it is just a silly thing to do, but regardless, it's hilarious. And then reaching out to other teachers and staff members in the administration and figuring out like what's the best course of action for some students that are really, really struggling to give it their all in class or to at least show up or that keep falling asleep or that come late every day or that are severely disrespectful to other students and to myself. And going at that with a mindset of like, this is how I'm going to help this student, not how I'm going to crush this student. How was your week at school this week?
Good.
Did you love it? Mm-hmm. What did we do Friday night after I had a crappy day at school?
We went to the beach.
We went to the beach and we had pizza on the beach. Mm-hmm. And we drove on the beach, even though we found out later that was illegal. Sorry, Ocean City. And we took, who did we take with us? That was a special guest.
Dog.
The beast. Did he love it?
He also hated the water.
He didn't, I think he was afraid of the waves.
He was afraid of the waves. I even tried to sing him a very long song that was like 1 hour, and he still didn't do it.
You really did sing that song for like an hour. Hey, did you drink wine on the beach too?
No.
Dude, are you seriously telling me?
No.
All right.
Can I get down?
You can. Guys, until next week, I hope you have the best week ever.
Peace.
Love you. Peace.